Hey there. Welcome back to another episode of the Heyman Adventure. If you're just joining us for the first time, a hearty welcome to you as well. I'm your host, Terrence, and I'm thrilled to be your guide on this adventure of all things home improvement and design. Last week, we dived into the transformative power of wall art and mirrors, and the feedback has been nothing short of inspiring. Like Sarah, who tagged us in her Instagram post showing her newly decorated living room. Sarah, you've got an eye for design, my friend. And Mike, who emailed us about his mirror escapade. Let's just say it was a good laugh and a lesson learned. You guys have been so engaged, asking for specific tips and guides. Don't worry, we've heard you, and we're in the process of creating some special episodes that cover just what you're asking for. But today, we've got something special lined up. How many of us have been defeated by flat pack furniture? You know, those boxes filled with wooden planks and a sea of screws that are somehow supposed to become a functional piece of furniture. If that's a painfully relatable experience for you, today is your lucky day. We're diving deep into the world of assembly services. Because honestly, why should a coffee table be a source of emotional turmoil? And let me tell you, the times of treating furniture assembly as an endurance sport are behind us. Whether it's a nightstand, a bookshelf, or even an elaborate dining set, there's a way to get it done without stress, and often that involves calling in the pros. Help is out there. In this episode, we'll be talking about what assembly services really entail, from single items to multi-item setups. We'll go through when you might want to call in the experts, what tools they bring to the table, and how you can make your life a whole lot easier. And don't forget, we've got our ever-popular Q&A segment coming up, where we tackle the questions you've sent us. So, grab a comfy seat, maybe a cup of something warm, and let's get into it. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. All right, folks, we're back and ready to dive into our main course for today. Single item assembly. You know, it's incredible how a flat, heavy box can hold the promise of something functional, something we envision fitting seamlessly into our homes. But when you open that box, oh boy, does the journey begin. Now, when we say single items, we're talking about a wide range of things. It could be as simple as an IKEA chair or a bedside table. Maybe it's a bookshelf that promises to hold your vast collection of novels. But then we escalate. How about a grill for the patio, or a home gym setup? Yeah, some of these single items can really push the boundaries of complexity. I remember one of our listeners, let's call her Becky, sent in a story. Becky decided to assemble a home elliptical machine. She thought, how hard can it be? 8 hours and one very confusing instruction manual later, she had something that vaguely resembled an elliptical. The only problem, it made a noise akin to a dying walrus every time she tried to use it. Becky, if you're listening, we feel for you. Now, stories like Becky's bring us to the meat of the matter. Why it's often a really good idea to consider professional help. And before anyone says, oh, but it costs money, let's talk about what you're investing in. First, let's talk safety. Those screws and bolts aren't just for show. They keep things sturdy and make sure your new furniture can actually function the way it's supposed to. I mean, no one wants a chair that turns into a recliner without notice, right? Safety is a big deal, and that brings us to quality assurance. Professionals assemble furniture for a living. They've decoded the cryptic instruction manuals. They understand what insert tab A into slot B really means. They'll make sure that your furniture is not just put together, but put together well. Time saving is another thing. Imagine freeing up an entire Saturday because you didn't have to figure out which screw goes where. Time is the one thing we can't get back, folks. So spending a bit to save a lot. That's an investment I can get behind. And for those brave souls who still want to venture into the realm of DIY assembly, here's a pro tip for you who invest in quality tools. Your future self will thank you. The little Allen wrenches that come with your furniture are okay in a pinch, but a good screwdriver set, and maybe even a power drill, can turn a mountain of a task into a molehill. Also, for heaven's sake, read the manual before you start. And I mean really read it. Don't just skim through the pictures. Take a moment to understand what each step involves. It might seem tedious, but a few minutes of reading can save you hours of backtracking and frustration. You see, folks, single item assembly may seem like child's play, but it's anything but that. As with most things in life, the devil is in the details. And when we overlook those details, we invite chaos into our lives. That's why the pros exist. to make sure that your furniture assembly doesn't turn into a weekend-long saga of confusion, frustration, and, well, let's admit it, some choice words. So the next time you find yourself staring at a flat box filled with endless possibilities, remember, you have options, and it's okay to ask for help. After all, some things are best left to the experts. Now, I know we had a whirlwind discussion about single-item assembly, but oh boy, hold onto your hats. We're taking it to a whole new level with multi-item assembly. So what do I mean by multi-item assembly? Imagine a puzzle, right? Now imagine that puzzle is actually several puzzles all mixed into one box, and somehow you have to piece them together into one unified masterpiece. That's multi-item assembly for you. We're talking about furnishing an entire room, a new office, heck, even your whole house. We're scaling from a song to a full-fledged symphony here. So let's explore the scenarios where this Herculean task becomes a necessity. Picture it, you just bought your first home. Congratulations. And now you're staring at an ocean of possibilities and an equal amount of boxes. You've got your dining set, your bedroom ensemble, your patio furniture, your home office necessities. And each one set up is a saga of its own. Overwhelmed yet? And it's not just for new homeowners. Entrepreneurs, I see you too. Your startup just got its first big kid office, and now you've got to convert that empty space into a hub of creativity and productivity. Oh, and let's not forget room makeovers. Sometimes we just need that refresh, that new vibe, and darn it, you deserve to give that to yourself. Look, whether you're furnishing a whole new chapter in your life, or you're on the quest to manifest your HGTV-inspired dreams, one thing's certain, you've got your work cut out for you. And folks, that's not one, not two, but a whole bunch of instruction manuals that seem like they're written in an ancient, lost language. But don't worry, we've all been there. I've seen it and heard it all. Take Sarah and Paul, for example. Freshly moved into their new apartment, bursting with excitement, but also, clearly, a little too optimistic. Sarah thought, hey, how hard can this be? A weekend of assembling should do it, right? But you see, optimism can sometimes be a tricky thing. 2 weekends in, they found themselves surrounded by half-built furniture and a mountain of despair. That's when they decided enough was enough, and opted to call in the pros. Why did they ultimately make that choice? Let me lay it out for you. First, time is of the essence. We're all busy, juggling work, family, and the occasional attempt at a social life. Can you afford to give up your weekends for what feels like an endless cycle of assembling, tweaking, disassembling, and then reassembling? Which brings me to point number 2, expertise. Believe it or not, there's a method to the madness. Professional assembly services can be game changers because they come with a strategy. They know what needs to be built first, what comes next, and how to maneuver through the maze of boxes to deliver an outcome that not only meets but often exceeds your expectations. And then there's the peace of mind. Knowing that your bookshelf won't collapse in the middle of the night, or that your dining table is sturdy enough to host your family's boisterous holiday dinner. These aren't just pieces of furniture. They're integral parts of our lives. Silent witnesses to our daily routines and special milestones. Don't they deserve to be set up properly? I hear you, though. The idea of outsourcing this intimate part of your home creation might feel a bit, well, impersonal. But let me put it to you this way. Does an architect lay every brick? Does a chef grow every tomato? No. They focus on their vision, their craft, and they let experts handle the particulars. Your home is still your vision, your sanctuary. Having someone assemble your furniture doesn't rob you of the joy and pride of making that space uniquely yours. So folks, if you're sitting on the fence about whether to go at it alone or to seek professional help, just remember, the aim is to make the process as stress-free as possible. A multi-item assembly service can take that colossal mountain of responsibility and distill it down to a streamlined, efficient, and fulfilling experience. After all, what's the ultimate goal? To create a space where you can live, love, work, and play. And let's be real, it's about building more than just furniture. It's about constricting your life's next chapter, brick by brick, or in this case, screw by screw, plank by plank. To sum it up, the next time you find yourself drowning in a sea of disassembled dreams, maybe it's time to call in the cavalry. The support is out there to help you make those dreams a reality. Trust me, you won't regret it. All right, my friends, it's time for one of my favorite segments. The good old Q&A. The inbox has been buzzing, and we've got a ton of great questions to go through. It's really heartwarming to see how engaged everyone is, and trust me, your curiosity drives this show. Big thanks to each and every one of you. Alright, first up we have Kate from Chicago asking, can I hire someone for assembling multiple types of furniture? Excellent question, Kate. Absolutely, you can, and let me tell you why that's a huge benefit. Assembly services often employ versatile professionals trained in a variety of assemblies, from your basic IKEA bookshelf to more complex pieces like wall units or even home gym setups. They're like the Swiss Army knife of handy men and women. Not only are they adept at understanding different instruction manuals, or the lack thereof, but they're also skilled in ensuring the final product looks and functions as it should. Imagine you've just moved into a new apartment and have different furniture coming in from various stores. Instead of hiring different specialists, you can often hire a single service that can do it all. It's more cost-effective and time-saving. So yes, flexibility is the name of the game here. Next, we've got Jason from New York wondering, what tools do professionals use for assembly? Man, if I had a nickel for every time a tool saved my life. Professional assemblers have a toolbox that could be considered an extension of their own hands. Let's break it down for those of us who aren't tool aficionados. You have the basics. Screwdrivers, both flathead and Phillips, a hammer, and perhaps a set of wrenches. These tools are usually enough for straightforward assemblies, like chairs and tables. But when it gets more complex, think multi-piece wall units or specialized exercise equipment. Out come the power drills, socket sets, and sometimes even specialized items like a doweling jig for precise alignment. Why do pros prefer these? For one, power tools can speed up the process tremendously, and the specialized tools ensure a level of precision that you may not achieve with just basic tools. All this gear doesn't just make the job faster, it makes it better. It's the difference between slicing bread with a butter knife and a serrated bread knife. One is clearly better suited for the task. Moving on, Sarah from Denver asks, how long does the assembly process usually take? The question of the hour. Quite literally. The time can vary a lot depending on what you're assembling. For example, a simple coffee table might take anywhere from 13 minutes to an hour for someone who knows what they're doing. Multi-item projects, as you can imagine, are a whole different ball game. The time investment could range from several hours to even days, especially if we're talking about a fully furnished home or a large office setup. Several factors could affect this time, such as the complexity of each item, whether you have all the necessary parts, and if the instructions are clear. That's why hiring a pro for larger projects can be a lifesaver. They come prepared, mentally and tool-wise, to tackle the job efficiently. They're also excellent at troubleshooting any unexpected issues, so you won't find yourself stuck midway through a project. Phew, that was a lot to unpack. But don't worry, we're not stopping here. We've got 4 more questions to go, and they're just as juicy. Let's move on to James from Minneapolis has a question that's right up our alley. He asks, what should I consider when choosing between doing it myself and hiring a professional assembly service, especially when it comes to more complex assemblies? James, my man, you're hitting the nail right on the head. This is a question that resonates with so many of us, so let's dive right into it. So, first up, DIY. There's this undeniable sense of pride that comes with assembling something yourself, isn't there? It's like, look, world, look what I can do. And that's a feeling you just can't bottle up. It's pretty darn sweet. But let's hit the pause button for a second. DIY has its own set of challenges. Trust me on this one. Ever realize halfway through a project that you've skipped a crucial step? And now, you've got to backtrack, undoing all that hard work. The struggle is real, my friends. Now, let's swing the pendulum to the other side. Calling in the pros. Firstly, you're getting experts, people who live and breathe assembly. They're the Mozart of maneuvering, the Picassos of piecing it together. They've got the chops, the experience, and the know-how. Next, let's talk about your most precious resource. Time. Time is something we can never get back, right? Hiring a pro can save you hours that you could be spending elsewhere, be it climbing the career ladder, enjoying family game night, or just sinking into a good book. It's all about maximizing your life minutes. Now, the elephant in the room, the cost. Yes, hiring a professional assembly service will set you back some green. But weigh that against the potential costs of DIY. Missing up and having to purchase new pots or even a whole new piece of furniture. The pros can actually save you money in the long run. So, to sum up your thoughtful question, James, if you've got the confidence, the tools, and a love for a hands-on project, then DIY could very well be a fulfilling route for you. But if you're strapped for time, dealing with something complicated, or simply don't trust yourself with an Allen wrench, professional assembly services can be a real lifesaver. The key is in knowing yourself and what you truly value: time, money, peace of mind. Weigh it all out, and you'll find your answer. Thanks, James, for such an insightful question that I'm sure many of us have pondered. All right, Tim from Houston asks, is assembly service expensive? This is a question we hear a lot, and honestly, it depends. You have to consider the value of your time and effort versus the cost of hiring a professional. Generally, the more complex the item, the higher the cost. However, the price often includes assurances like warranties, quick and safe assembly, and the peace of mind knowing the job's done right. Up next, Olivia from San Francisco wonders, are there services that take care of the entire setup, including placement? Absolutely, Olivia. Many assembly services offer what you might call a full-service package. This can include unpacking, assembly, placement in your room according to your layout, and even removal of packaging material. If you're looking for a hands-off, stress-free experience, this could be the option for you. Lastly, we have Alan from Miami who asks, what should I do to prepare for an assembly service? Well, Alan, a bit of prep can go a long way. Make sure the space you're going to assemble in is cleared and ready. Have a rough idea where you want things to go. And do check if all the parts have arrived as expected. You don't want to discover you're missing a crucial screw halfway through the job. And that, my friends, wraps up our Q&A segment for today. A huge thanks to all who submitted questions. Your curiosity fuels this show, and I can't wait to see what we explore next. If you have more questions, don't hesitate to drop us a line. Well, my friends, they say all good things must come to an end. But before we put a bow on today's episode, let's pause and reflect on our time together. Because, honestly, I feel like we've not just learned a thing or two. We've shared a meaningful experience, haven't we? So what's our big takeaway from today? If I were to put it succinctly, it's this. Assembly services are not a one-size-fits-all deal. From the complexities of single-item assemblies to the labyrinth of multi-item setups, we peel back the layers and dive deep into what it truly takes to master this art. Yes, it's an art. And I hope you all feel a lot more equipped to tackle it. By the way, did you love what you heard today? If so, you'd be doing us a massive favor by liking, commenting, and subscribing. These simple gestures help push this podcast up the algorithm, which means we get to reach more people like you, people who love turning their homes into sanctuaries. And speaking of sanctuaries, you won't want to miss our next episode. We'll be taking a glamorous journey into the world of white glove delivery services. If you've ever dreamed of a home setup that's fit for royalty, this is your golden ticket. It's more than just delivery. It's about the entire experience of luxuriously walking into your own home. Now, I must share something that's near and dear to our hearts here at the Heyman Adventure. You see, this isn't just a podcast. It's an extension of our values, our philosophy, and our unmatched passion for what we do. We're all about quality, integrity, and, most of all, creating lasting relationships with you, our incredible listeners. For those new to our circle, we're based in the lovely town of Daphne, Alabama, serving Daphne, Fairhope, and the surrounding areas. And trust me, there's nothing we cherish more than adding that touch of magic to your homes. One piece of art, one mirror, one piece of assembled furniture at a time. Got a question, a concern, or maybe some feedback? We've got ears like you wouldn't believe, and they're all yours. Reach out to us via our website, HeymanMountInstall.com, or give us a call at 251-599-7732. Let me say that number once more for the folks jotting it down. 251-599-7732. And if you're more of a keyboard warrior, you can also use the contact form on our website to shoot us an email. If you've enjoyed our journey today, I invite you, no, I urge you, to dive even deeper. Visit our website, check out our social media pages, and get to know us better. Because, at the end of the day, we're not just here to offer a service. We're here to build a community, a family, of happy homeowners who take pride in their spaces. Why? Because we understand that your home isn't just a place. It's a feeling, a reflection of you. And every item you choose to bring into it should be placed with the same care, attention, and love that you'd give to your own self. So let's keep this conversation going. Your questions fuel our passion, and we can't wait to bring more of your queries into our upcoming episodes. Because you're not just helping us, you're contributing to a larger community of home enthusiasts. And with that said, let's officially wrap things up for today. From all of us here, and from me, Terrence, your trusty guide in this grand adventure, a huge thank you for letting us into your lives and homes. Until next week, remember to keep dreaming, keep assembling, and keep making those dream spaces a reality. So, go on, keep on shining and doing what you do best. We'll be right here, doing the same, just for you. Goodbye for now.